وما بيهتموا إيش صار في عينيك.
The only way for me to describe the stem cell world is like the Wild Wild West. And it's not just in Florida, this is worldwide.
Andrew Yaffa is a lawyer specializing in medical malpractice claims. He successfully pursued a number of cases against doctors using stem cell procedures that have gone on to injure patients. What do you know about Dr. Weiss and his partner?
When I was initially looking into them, I became curious about how they could do what they were doing, given the rules and regulations that are supposed to control and limit these things.
Do you think, are they violating any laws or regulations?
I certainly would question the representations being made individually to patients. You can report your results, but to say that this is any better than medical therapies that are out there to entice them to come have this treatment through your, quote, clinical trial that you're going to charge them for? I've heard through the grapevine that Dr. Levy lost his license in another state.
In 2004, Steve Levy surrendered his license to practice in Connecticut and New York State. In New York, there were 41 undisputed specifications laid out against him, including incompetence on more than one occasion, fraudulent practice, false reports, and failing to comply with the federal law. I've also found out that in 2021, the American Academy of Ophthalmology permanently terminated the membership of Dr. Weiss after investigating the way the trial was run. They concluded that the study broke rules about false, untrue, deceptive or misleading information to patients and not to create unjustified expectations of results, and that the results did not substantiate the publicly made claims for safety and efficacy of the research.
When a physician tells a patient there's no hope and go home, you have consigned that patient to blindness, which is a terrible, terrible thing. And I assure you, because I've seen it, if it was that physician's family, he would find me.
I've been approached by no less than 15 or 20 patients wanting me to look into potential cases against them. Unfortunately for these patients, I've had to arrive at the exact same conclusion, that I was unable to help.
I'm used to hearing reasons for why action is not taken against these clinics and doctors. And it seems that things will be no different in America.
Medical malpractice cases are very, very complicated to prepare and expensive in the state of Florida. I got to ensure that the damages that they suffered justify the cost and expense to prosecute these physicians. Cases that came to me, these were people that were unfortunately very damaged to begin with before Weiss even attempted to treat them. Florida requires that your hired hand that you bring to your house to cut your lawn has more insurance than any physician that's going to operate on you.
I've contacted Dr. Levy, telling him that I'm a journalist investigating their treatment and requesting an interview with Dr. Weiss. While I wait for their answer, I want to understand how in such a highly regulated country all of this is possible.
The only body that can go in and shut them down would be the FDA.
The Food and Drug Administration is a federal agency responsible for regulating clinical trials in the United States. It seemed like Dr. Levy's conversation with me might be breaking several FDA rules on how clinical trials should be run.
The FDA is understaffed. They don't have enough people nor clarity in terms of the rules and regulations. These clinics are allowed, unfortunately, to continue their profit-driven business because nobody's willing to take the bull by the horns and do what's in the patient's best interests and shut them down.